Muted.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us today on the webinar. This is Daniela Levy here at the Brokerage Inc. I am in charge of the ancillary department, and today we are going to be talking about hospital indemnity plans. I will be going over several of the plans that we offer here at the Brokerage Inc. and kind of doing a side-by-side comparison, let you know which ones are good for kind of which segments in the market and what part of those plans are better than maybe the others. So we're going to go ahead and start now. So first of all, why should you sell your clients a hospital indemnity plan? If you guys have watched my webinars in the past, I've done several on critical illness and dental and all that stuff. And one of the biggest points I like to make is why these plans are so important. A lot of people think supplemental plans are just an added thing that maybe isn't necessary and is maybe just an extra cost without much benefit. But there really are a lot of reasons why you should sell your clients hospital indemnity plans or critical illness plans or any kind of gap plan, especially in today's market where out-of-pocket costs are rising more than ever before in both Medicare and the ACA markets, as many of you will know. And so 3 in 5 bankruptcies are due to medical bills. I'm sure you've talked to plenty of clients who have either had a critical illness or have been in the hospital for an accident and have faced really high out-of-pocket costs. These can often be crippling to families or individuals who don't have the money put away to pay for these kind of catastrophic events. So I have a few statistics here on hospital stays. It's estimated that 18.4 million Americans have had to stay overnight at a hospital. The average hospital stay lasts around 5 days, and the average cost was about $2,137 a day. So the hospital indemnity plans really work to kind of mitigate the risk of these kinds of hospital stays. In the case that your client, God forbid, has to go into the hospital and stays for 5 days or more or less, at least they'll have some kind of plan to kind of keep from having to pay a lot out of pocket. There are several plans out there that, as everybody knows, the out-of-pocket costs, the annual out-of-pocket have gone up a lot. I put a couple of examples here. So the Etna Medicare Advantage HMO plan here in Dallas, a client is responsible for up to $4,100. Same for ACA market. It's even worse there, actually. For a Blue Cross Blue Shield Advantage Silver HMO plan, a client can be responsible for up to $6,850. And there's plenty of reasons, as you know, for people to have to go to the ER. If they're having chest pains or have a broken bone, you don't want them to feel like they can't go to the ER or try to postpone care because they're scared of the costs that it might incur. So the first plan I want to cover is the Medico Hospital Confinement Indemnity Plan. This is the one that we sell the most of. It's a pretty popular plan. The issue ages are between 18 and which is pretty good, especially if you have a lot of clients in the Medicare market who oftentimes, maybe have a Medicare Advantage plan and realize that they may be responsible for a good chunk of out-of-pocket expenses and want to be covered for the few days that Medicare does not cover in the hospital. And so this is a great plan for them. There are 3 different plans. The first one is the most popular option. It provides a daily amount between $250 to $600. The client can choose how much, and then they choose how many days. I think it's between 6 and 10 days. And then there's options 2 and 3, which those options are a lump sum benefit in the case of a hospitalization from between $1,500 to $5,000. Between $1,500 and $2,500 can be given up to 3 times a year. If they choose the $5,000 benefit, it's only once a year. A great thing about Medico is they offer a 7% household discount, and it's a little bit different than most household discounts because with Medico, your client is eligible just if they have somebody living in the household with them, And that doesn't necessarily mean that the other person has to have the same plan or has to have a plan with Medico at all. So just the fact that they live with somebody else who is an adult automatically qualifies them for the 7% household discount, which is always nice to have an additional discount to a plan like this. And this plan is already, it's really good for people with maybe not so big of a budget. Another great thing about the plan is it's simplified issue. What this means is there's no underwriting aside from the questions on the app. So I'll show you the questions in a second. There's just a few questions on the application, and if they answer yes to any of them, then they're automatically disqualified for the plan. But as long as they don't say yes to any of those, then there is no additional underwriting. The pre-existing conditions that any clients may have are not going to be covered during the first 6 months. Of course, there are a few pre-existing conditions that make the client ineligible for the plan, but for those that are covered under the plan, they're not covered within the first 6 months. Another great thing about this plan is that it has some great additional riders if your client wants to spend a little bit extra to add some other great benefits. There is a rider for ambulances, one for outpatient rehabilitation, a daily skilled nursing home rider, a lump sum cancer rider if they don't want to buy a whole full-blown cancer plan. They can just have a small benefit within their hospital indemnity plan, and then of course an accidental death and dismemberment rider. So this right here kind of just outlines the benefits that this plan offers. Like I mentioned before, there are 3 different options. Here you can kind of see it written out. For option 1, they have the choice to get a coverage amount between $250 to $600 in $25 increments. So they can do $250, $275, etc. And then on top of those benefits, which is why option 1 is so popular, it includes an observation unit benefit, a mental health benefit, and an emergency room benefit. For the observation unit benefit, it pays whatever the client has chosen to be their confinement benefit. It pays 50% of that benefit for a maximum of 3 days per calendar year. For mental health benefit, they pay $175 per confinement for 7 days per calendar year, which this is the only plan that I've seen that offers a mental health benefit, which makes it very unique. And then, of course, the emergency room benefit, which pays $150 per day for a maximum of 3 days. And then another thing that's great about this is it includes a $1,000 accidental death and dismemberment benefit. There's the option to have a rider that can increase that to, I think it's up to $10,000, but you already have a $1,000 benefit included in the base policy. And then the options 2 and 3, it's just the lump sum benefit. You don't get any kind of additional benefits with it. If your client goes to the hospital for whatever reason, then they're given a check for whatever option or whatever benefit amount that they choose, whether it's $1,500 or $5,000. So when I mentioned the underwriting, I said that the only underwriting is the questions on the application, the medical questions. And here, these are all of the medical questions. So as you can see, it's not very long. Pretty much it just asks in the last year or 2 years, have you had any of the following illnesses? Of course, they're the main ones that you often see: Alzheimer's disease, cancer, and then they go into alcohol and substance abuse, AIDS. And as long as your client can say no to all of those, then they will be written under this plan. So I brought up the base option 1 rates because I get a lot of questions on how to use this rate sheet. It's a little bit confusing, so I wanted to go through it with you guys so you can kind of see how to quote your clients. So I used the example here of a male aged 65 with a $325 benefit for 8 days. So your client, like I said earlier, they choose the benefit amount, the daily benefit amount, and then they choose how many days they want that benefit to cover. So you have the option between 6 days and 10 days, which you can see in the chart. So we went for 8 days, and if you go all the way down under male to age 65, you can see the little yellow box there. It's $3.15 per unit. And at the top, it explains each unit is a $25 increment. So if they want a $325 benefit, then you have to divide that by the $25 increment, which gives you a total of 13 units. So then you multiply the unit rate by the number of units. So in this case, it's the unit rate shown on the chart, which is $3.15, and then times 13 units, because that's how many units that you need to get a $325 benefit. So when you do that, it equals $40.95. And then you have to go in and add the Texas minimum benefit. So the Texas minimum benefit is required by Texas law, and it's a $15 benefit for the first 31 days. So that's also included in their plan. And for a male age 65, that's going to be $3.63 to add that on. And you have to add that on. It's not a choice. They're going to require that you add that portion on. So it's just part of the rate, which equals $44.58. So for a male age 65, their total is going to be $44.58. If they have, maybe their spouse lives with them, whether she decides to get the same plan or not, he's going to be eligible for the household discount. You can see here that the household discount factor is 0.93, so you just multiply the rate that you got, so the $44.58, by the household discount factor, and then that will give you a final premium of $41.46. So as you can see, for a 65-year-old male, that's not a lot of money, and he will be covered for 8 days anytime he's in the hospital during the year for $325. And that benefit renews every year, so he's eligible for up to 8 days worth of benefits every year. So the next plan I want to talk about is Standard Life's Resolution Hospital Indemnity Insurance Plan. This is another great plan. This one I would say is probably the one most rich in benefits, but of course with that comes a higher premium. Their issue ages is also a little bit lower than the Medico plan. It only goes up to age 74. And for this one, for the plan options, you just choose your hospital admission and confinement benefit amounts. And it's also a simplified issue, so again, you just answer yes or no to the health questions on the application, and then that's the end of the underwriting. This one has a 0-day elimination period, so if the client buys this plan and it's issued tomorrow, then from starting tomorrow, if they get into an accident and go into the hospital, the plan will immediately pay out. But then, of course, for this one, pre-existing conditions are not covered whatsoever. In the Medical plan, accepted pre-existing conditions were covered after 6 months. For this one, they are not covered. So this is an outline of the benefits. This is a very simple plan. Basically here, you just choose between your hospital admission benefit. So it's either the $500 benefit or the $1,000 benefit. And then you choose your hospital confinement benefit. This is the daily amount. And you can choose between $100 and $500. So for this plan, it'll pay both. It'll pay per day, and it will also give them the hospital admission benefit. So you get them both at the same time if you're in the hospital. And for each additional day, you get your daily benefit as well. This plan also includes an ambulance benefit. The way that this works is it pays 50% of whatever the client chooses their hospital confinement benefit to be. So if they choose a hospital confinement benefit of $300, then 50% of that, $150, can be used for an ambulance. And then for intensive care unit, 2 times that amount can be used for a hospital stay in an intensive care unit. So if they chose $300, then up to $600 can be used for intensive care. And then same-day surgery facility benefits is the same as the hospital confinement benefit, so they would get that on top of the hospital confinement benefit. And then rehabilitation facility confinement is going to be 75% of the confinement benefit. This plan, like I said, is a little bit richer in benefits because it covers the client for 365 days. So that's how many days that they can use for the course of the policy. Whereas with the Medico plan, they can only use between 6 and 10 days per year of the benefit. This one allows them to use 365 days, whether they use it all in a row or they use it over the course of the policy life. So like I said, the only underwriting is, again, the questions. This is what the questions look like for the standard life and accident plan. This one kind of goes ahead and lists out all the uninsurable conditions that they won't cover. And if the client answers yes to any of them, then they are automatically disqualified. And then, of course, it always asks the pregnancy question. So again, pretty simple application. And then these are the monthly plan rates for the standard life plan. Like I said, it's going to be a little bit more expensive. So for the male age 65 example, I'm going to use that one again. This one's going to be a $300 daily benefit, whereas we used $325 daily benefit on the last one. But this one also includes a $500 admission benefit. So if the client went into the hospital on day one, they would get $500 plus the $300 for staying a whole day, to be $800 day one, and then $300 consecutively for each day after that. So you can see the little yellow square here, that's our age 65 for our $500 admission benefit and $300 daily benefit. And for an individual, it's $108.16. So more than double what the Medico plan was, but again, more benefits as well. For a female, I wanted to kind of show this example because this is kind of a great plan for somebody maybe who's younger, somebody under 65, for a family especially. You can see that they offer family rates or plus spouse plus child rates. And so this is a great plan for them as well. And for people a little bit younger, it's a little bit more a little bit easier to pay for. The premium's not quite as high. So a female age 35 for the same benefit, it's only going to be $25 for an individual. For a family, it'll be $67. So that's a pretty good deal if you have, you know, a set of parents and then 3 kids, $67 to cover them all for the benefits shown. That's a pretty good deal, I'd say. And you never know, especially with kids out riding their bicycle and they fall and break a leg, then you're kind of good to go. They don't have to worry too much about the out-of-pocket costs, the deductibles, the copays, any of that might be there in their policy. So the last plan that I want to cover is the Etna Continental plan. This is the hospital indemnity plan that they offer. So the issue ages for this one, this is the highest one that we offer. It goes all the way up to age 89. The Medico one went up to 85, and the standard life one went up to 74, I think. So this one is also a great plan. It kind of stands in the middle of the last two. Offers some good benefits as well. This one offers the option to choose hospital confinement benefit between $250 and $2,500. That is the base plan. The way that this one kind of works is I put them under additional riders available, but really it's just kind of categorized. So each benefit that you want has an additional premium to add. It's not all included in the plan. You can kind of pick and choose which benefits you'd like. Some of them are pretty cheap, you'll see when I pull out the rates, and others are a little bit higher in premium. This one's also a simplified issue plan. However, with this one, RX checks, so prescription drug checks or a telephone interview may be required depending on what they fill out the application. There is an area asking them what medications they are on, so it is possible that the company might decide to call the client and ask them about it or to further investigate the prescriptions. But aside from that, there is no other underwriting. So let's go into the additional riders so you can kind of take a look at how much these cost. So like I said, the base rate, or the base plan is the hospital indemnity benefit that you choose between $250 and $2,500. This one is in increments of $250. So again, with the units, between 1 unit and 10 units, we'll go through the rates in a second. And then the optional benefits that you can add on to that base rate is the daily hospital indemnity. So of course, this is the daily amount that you get on top of your initial hospital confinement. And then they can choose between $10 and $300 in increments of 10. They can add a daily skilled nursing facility benefit, and then doctor visit indemnity, outpatient surgery, and ambulance emergency room benefit. So the Etna plan has a little more questions, but like the other ones, it generally sticks between 1 year and 2 years. This one actually also goes up to 3 years when it comes to stroke, kidney disease, Alzheimer's, etc. But again, just answer the questions yes or no, and then there's going to be a later section asking for what drugs the client is currently on, and then may require more underwriting from there. So here is the pre-calculated monthly rates for the Aetna Hospital Indemnity Plan. Like I said, you can see here that it's kind of split up into little sections, so you add together which benefits you would like. It's very customizable to see what your clients might value, and they can, adjust for their budget and what they think is most important. So again, with our example, a $500 confinement and a $300 daily benefit, which was the same as the last one we quoted. The total amount is going to be $78.78, so it's cheaper than the standard life, but still more expensive than the Medico one, which was $44. So this kind of works the same way as the Medico plan in terms of the units. So you can see next to the examples I have right here. Oops. Go back. Okay. So you can see here how I did it with a $9.99 rate for the base plan, the hospital indemnity. For one unit is $250. So they want a $500 benefit, so that's going to be 2 units. So we multiply that $9.99 by 2, which is going to give them $19.98 for the base plan. So I mean, if they just wanted just that benefit, it's just going to be $20 for a male age 65. If they wanted to go ahead and get that daily rate as well, then they can look here under daily hospital indemnity for $10. So again, the $10 is going to be the unit, and the per unit rate is $1.96. In this case, we're going to do $300, so it's 30 units. Multiply that by the per unit rate, and you get $58.80. I'm going to combine them both to get the $78.78. And then if we go back to our female age 35 example, then you can see on this plan it's going to be actually more expensive than the last plan, but that's because we went ahead and added several other sections, whereas the last plan only offered the confinement and the daily benefit. I went ahead and added to this one an outpatient benefit and the $200 emergency benefit to equal $38.12, which is a pretty good deal as well for somebody aged 35, and that goes all the way up to 39 as well. So, and you can see under, for example, the doctor office visit per $10. If they wanted to add that, it's going to be a $6 additional premium. If they wanted to add a daily skilled nursing facility per $10, it's going to be 11 cents. So I mean, you might as well throw in an extra 11 cents and get $10 per day for 20 days. I mean, why not? It's just an additional benefit. But again, they can choose what's most important to them, which ones that they think that they need, and then you can adjust the premium from there to fit their budget. Okay, so I'm going to show really quickly a side-by-side comparison of the 3 plans that we just talked about. I know it's kind of hard to picture it in your head just from listening to me talk to see kind of which ones are the better plans. But kind of what I said, the Medico plan is, I think, the best option for seniors, especially if they have a MedSup or a Medicare Advantage plan that maybe covers them pretty well for a hospital confinement. And if it leaves them open for the first 6 days, and that you can purchase a plan for 6 days, and it's pretty affordable for seniors. It's pretty customizable with option 1, and it includes the mental health emergency and observation unit benefits, and then you can always add the ambulance and skilled nursing benefits, etc., if the client thinks that that's important. And then the standard life is the one with the richest benefits because it goes up to 365 days of benefits, and it also includes up to $1,000 per admission. And then the ambulance, rehabilitation, and ICU are all included, as well as inpatient and outpatient surgical are all included in the confinement, the admission benefit. The daily confinement benefit. So they get that benefit as well for going into the ICU or rehabilitation, which is nice. And then the Aetna plan, like I said, is kind of the middle ground there. It's not going to be quite as expensive as the standard life. And not quite as affordable as the Medico plan, and it's got a lot of customizability, which is great. It's the most customizable plan. It's definitely a good plan for if you have clients under the age of 65. So these are kind of the three main plans that we offer here at the brokerage. There are, of course, more, but these are the ones that I see the most being sold, and I think that have the richest benefits. Etna, I think, is coming up with a new one, or they currently have several different plans that are kind of a mix of short-term care and hospital plans, and I know they're going to be introducing a new one into the Texas market soon. But as of right now, that's the hospital plan they offer. And as soon as they offer the next one, I will go ahead and put another presentation on, and we can see what that one looks like next to this one. But so far, these are the plans that I definitely would recommend. That's pretty much it. Kind of ran through that really fast. But this is my contact information here on the screen. If you have any questions about those plans, let me know. I'm going to send out this presentation to all of you who participated on the webinar today, so you can have it for your records. If you talk to a client, you can kind of take a look with them and see what the differences are and what works best with them. It's kind of just a good little cheat sheet to have. And I'll send you a link to the materials so you can download the brochures and rate sheets and any kind of flyers that you might need. And if you have any additional questions, you can either go ahead and type it into the chat box or just send me an email after the webinar, and I would be happy to answer any questions that you might have. I want to thank you all so much for joining us on the webinar and taking time out of your day to learn more about hospital indemnity plans. I will be sending you guys out the follow-up. Like I said, I will include any answers to any questions and any materials that you guys might need. If you would like to get contracted with any of those carriers that I mentioned, if you're not already, then go ahead and respond to the email I send. I will also include a contracting link on the email so you can go from there. But thank you guys so much for joining us on the webinar, and hope to see you on the next one. Hope to hear from you. Definitely would like to start having our agents sell more hospital indemnity plans. I know they're very important to a lot of clients, and especially in today's market are becoming more of a necessity. All right, I hope everybody has a great day. We'll see you next time.